Just the other day, someone asked me my best Craig O'Neill story. And my favorite of all time, and there's so many.
I want to see if we match.
My favorite is going to our super long day in Lexington, Kentucky, where we left Little Rock at 5 o'clock in the morning, flew out on a Saturday morning. But back then, after the 9/11 scare, you had to be at the airport 2 hours ahead of time.
Yep.
So we got there like at 3 o'clock. No one knew we were probably there at 2:45.
Mm-hmm.
We fly into Kentucky. We get a rental car. We drive over to Louisville because you want to see Holy Bull. We go to the farm.
Who's in retirement at Darley Farm, right outside of Lexington. I have to go see Holy Bull, my favorite racehorse. He's in stud. By the way, he's passed away. But anyway, he's doing stud duty at Darley Farm, which is owned by Arabs. So anyway, keep going.
So we go and see Holy Bull, and they bring him out of the barn, and they're leading him out to this pasture. It's the most beautiful pasture you've ever seen. It's lush green, that Kentucky bluegrass.
Oh my gosh.
It's mowed, so it's not old, but it's thick,
Heaven.
and it's rolling hills, and it's beautiful trees, great scenery, and you're like, Wes, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be beautiful. Zoom in, tight on his face, and then as they open the gate, kind of pull out a little bit and show the horse take off running. It's going to be majestic.
It's going to be brilliant.
It's our money shot. So I did. Zoom into Holy Bull, and they open the gate, and he takes off. Takes like 5 good steps, and I kind of pull out a little bit, and he stops, raises his tail, and plops right there. Just a big old dump.
That's what he thinks of the situation.
All on camera.
Yeah. And the worst part of that is I turn to the handler and go, hey, when those dry out, do you think I could have one?
Isn't that an indication that he's going to run faster now? I always heard that he's carrying less weight.
You hear that about greyhounds, that if they take
that's the one I'm betting on.
Go right now. Go get that number. He's lighter. So, that is. I thought you were going to talk about the Ole Miss trip.
Oh, that's probably number 2.
We get into the car and I go, I know right where the parking lot is, and I'll go get our other car because we had 2 cars. We had to take one car to go get the other car. We just go down this passageway. This is the street. No, that was the pedestrian bridge from the stadium down to the parking lot. And as Wes and I go in the Channel 11 car down the pedestrian bridge is getting narrower and narrower and narrower, and people are having to get out of the way and grab hold of the side of the pedestrian bridge. And finally, Wes says, I don't think this is it. We had to back up a quarter of a mile, couldn't hit any Ole Miss fans, although there were times in my life that I wish I could have, but not then. And got out of there and finally got around the corner. I thought that's where you were going.
He left out that it was raining. There's all kinds of construction, so there's tape and bells everywhere, and you cannot turn around anywhere.
Man.
It was a disaster.
You got some stuff with a book now.
Oh.
When you publish the book, I get at least 1 chapter.
That was another one of those overtime games that after that Ole Miss night, wasn't it? Because it was raining.
It wasn't the 7 overtime.
No.
Because that was 0-1.
No, that was before I got here.
Yeah.
Now the Kentucky trip. To finish the story. After getting Holy Bull on TV, taking number 2, we go back to the parking lot. We have to do all this pregame stuff. You used to do some kind of contribution to some SEC show, and we had to shoot that package. Then we had to do our stuff for THV. We did our live shot at 6 o'clock. We're done at 6:30. I'm sitting in the SAT truck, almost falling asleep, thinking, man, I hope this is a quick and easy game. Go 7 overtimes.
Oh, my gosh.
7 overtimes. We go back to the hotel. It's like 1:15 in the morning. I've been up almost 24 hours straight, and I'm laying there, and I can't go to sleep because I'm so jacked up from from that just awesome day and awesome game.
Wow. So you, and then I woke you up and took you to the races.
Yep, we went to
Churchill.
That was my first trip to Churchill.
Because the plane didn't take off till late, so there we were. Good gosh, Wes. I owe you an apology live.
Go ahead.
I just did. Man.
I've been waiting for one.
I'd like to tell you things have changed and settled down, but that's not quite the case. Or for you either.
No, we stay busy. It's been crazy this last week. It's been really crazy with the passing of Mitch Petrus and talking with the family and friends and the memorial and people on Facebook and Twitter. It's been you really see how many lives he touched. Just this morning I got a video and it's Mitch talking to like two little bitty kids in Carlisle. They at school they're doing like a TV program, and they couldn't be any more than first grade, and he was just awesome. How he just had that flair.
He did, and I don't know if you remember this, but when he played, was he on the offensive line that day, or he was starting? Was he fullback for Houston? No, we're in the press box, and Mitch Petrus gets called for a foul for hitting a late hit or something, and he protested, and from that point on, I couldn't take my eyes off him because he was just that way. He just drew you in. You had to watch, even though he's in a non-glamorous position. But I could not stop watching Mitch Petrus.
See, the way that story went in my mind was Darren McFadden grabbed him and slung him down to the ground to stop the protest. But they were saying at the memorial it was Stephen Parker, one of the offensive linemen, that did that.
Took him away.
But pulled him away, yanked him away.
But what spirit? What spirit? You just want to hold on to that. Especially if you're a Razorback fan, you want that. That's what you crave. And because he was totally committed.
They need about 5 Mitch Petruses on that offensive line this year. That's for sure.
You need that spark.
Someone asked me yesterday, and I told them I would ask and find out, what are your plans? What are you doing now?
Gonna retire.
When? When's the deal?
Well, it's funny we should talk about it. Well, actually, I brought it.
Didn't you just celebrate an anniversary recently?
Yeah, well, like September 3rd of this year, it'll be 50 years of broadcast. And never a dull moment. A lot of backing up that car. Which, by the way, will be...
It's classic.
That's going to be the name of my horse.
What are you
if
doing?
I ever own one.
LaShonda?
Honky Fool.
Oh, Honky Fool.
In front, it's Honky Fool. I can hear it all now. But I'm going to write a book. I'm going to, and I'll beg to come back on the air and promote the book in about a year and a half.
Sure.
But I've got 17 months left with Channel 11. And then I don't know what
17, counting, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's 16 in a week and 3 days. But who's counting?
I used to enjoy when y'all would air on like the secondary station in between the breaks. I used to love just watching. It's like, I don't know what this guy's going to do, just goofing around.
That's why they stopped it.
Because it was so big.
Well, the general manager he had no idea what I was going to say next, or Buckner, or even you.
Well, I was always told because so many people started watching the secondary channel and they couldn't keep up with it in the ratings, and they felt like it was hurting some of the numbers because it was becoming so popular to see
I would just leave
we
it
were
on
doing
there
in the commercial breaks.
And see, that's the thing. We would do these things called Teach Me in Your Town, where we would go to different cities and broadcast live, and people would turn out not because of what we were doing on the main channel. The people we were drawing in were ones watching the secondary channel, the real life that goes on between the...
You felt like a fly on the wall, you know?
You were behind the scenes. Interesting.
Yeah. No, it was big. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. That was a great idea.
But, again, I took it as the... It's funny how we take it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the GM getting all nervous and.
Well, it became the Craig O'Neill show for 2 minutes. He said Ed Buckner. He said me. We never got to say anything. Craig took over. I mean, it's like, and we'll be right back. Click, and then Craig would go into dialogue for 2 minutes.
If I had my way, folks, we would destroy the prompter. I've always wanted to do a TV show without a teleprompter. Just go, like we're doing now. Just
let it
visit. You know?
Well, I've had to do that a couple times, and once at 11, and I've done it once at Fox, and it's worked without a hitch because of the director. You've got to have a great director. Y'all have one, we have one, and he gets to know you and your personality, your lead-ins, and he knows when to roll the video, and he knows when you're tossing to a soundbite to roll the next piece of video of the interview, when to come back to you on camera, when to take. He just knows
it's
because
like,
of the
it's
work.
like a center on a football team who can snap the ball upon hearing almost the inflection of the quarterback's voice. Not necessarily, of course, he knows the snap count, but it's the same way with the director. You know by the inflection of the voice when to roll it.
See, I don't think he could work with you because you're unpredictable. He would be like, well, I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know when to roll this video. I don't know what he's about to toss to the soundbite.
Yeah. Oh, but I'd like to try. I've even thought of the promo where you're standing on camera and go, "Hi, folks, I'm Craig O'Neill of today's THV, listen to me, of THV 11. We have something new we're going to do on THV 11. But first, let me do this. And you pull out a sledgehammer and you just destroy a teleprompter. In this day and age of reality TV,
Yeah.
it just might work.
You could probably do that. That's an idea for the 6:30 show, from 6:30 to 7.
See, I've already recommended it, Wes. Yeah. And we're talking about it. I mean, not about destroying the teleprompter. We're going without one. But we've had conversations about what to do with the 6:30 show because, let's face it, you're not doing anything because you're faced with Wheel of Fortune and 800 other cable channels.
Right.
Wheel of Fortune is still dominant at 6:30. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the numbers.
Would you push off retirement if you could be a part of that?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Wow.
That's something I'm going to have to ponder. If I come out and say yes, I'll get talked to by the general manager today.
Well, you've always wanted like a 30 or an hour Craig O'Neill show.
Yep.
I mean, even when I was there, and there was a couple times I thought it was going to happen, and I'm sure you thought it was going to happen.
And that's the cash cow that local TV, if they just are willing to discover it and put down the bucks to pay for it, that could be a cash cow for local TV if they
take a chance.
So odd because we're going back to the 50s when television was just starting, and we had these locally produced shows that were in black and white they had no teleprompter, they were just totally chaotic and improvised. And now that could be, if somebody did that locally, woo, man, make it rain in here.
You got my wheels. There's a reason why radio's so successful, and I mean, I know part of it is cars, and people still want free radio and talk radio, and it's big. And if you could take that, somehow mimic it, and put it on TV, I think you're right. You got something.
Yep, it's something totally unplanned and chaotic. Now, THV11 is doing The Vine, which is a repackaging of a mid-morning show, which I'm a big fan of that. Mainly because of Mario Ruiz, but anyway, and Ashley King.
Yeah.
But
very talented ladies.
Yeah.
Ashley used to work up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was on the station next door. Yeah.
And she's radio. She's got radio DNA.
That's her father was a radio guy.
Oh yeah. Sid.
What do you think you'll miss the most in 16 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days?
From TV, it's the collaboration. My favorite time, folks, every day is at 4 o'clock, and Wes knows this. You walk into this broad newsroom and you see all of this creative energy. People putting their heads together. How best to tell the story. How to edit. Should this lead in go this way?
Hey,
I'm going to miss that creative energy, that collaborative effort at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's my favorite hour.
Well, it's like NFL, NBA, but whatever they say when they retire, they miss the locker room, the camaraderie, and that's our locker room, the newsroom, the meetings,
but
putting out a product that,
Yeah, but I'm going to write the book. I'm going to come at you and go, Wes, help me promote the book. Now, you can't do that on Fox, but you can do it here, so.
You'll be retired by then. So
that's it. There you go.
Yeah.
I could show up then.
Sure. Have you already written, do you have a plan for the book?
I've already written 2 chapters, and one of them is about the true story of LaShonda, about how it evolved.
Okay.
Did she get in trouble at work?
It'll be in the book.
Oh, I have to wait for the book.
Yeah, now you got to buy. See, that's a good tease, Wes. I got 1 chapter written, and you're going to have to buy the book.
There used to be another character that would call in, like Shirley Q. Liquor.
Yeah.
Was that a local thing, or?
Shirley Q. Liquor was a white male Episcopal priest.
Wow.
Yep, from Texas, Port Arthur, Texas, and he had been raised by an African American woman. Spent most of his formative years under her leadership and had her down perfectly. Now, the racist part of that is he would go to stock black issues and use that as a way of derision and laughter. But the remarkable thing was the voice.
Right.
And the inflection and the way the words. Oh my gosh, that was a thing.
But that was one of these things. It was like theater of the mind radio, and it would picture. You would have sound effects and stuff too with these things. Like you just come in the studio and stuff. But that's one of the things. Like years ago when the file sharing was big, a lot of your stuff in those calls were like on Kazaa and stuff. And I remember filling up like an early version of an MP3 player when I was like in senior in high school and listening to all those calls.
And my favorite skit was when I did Clinton and she did Shirley Q. And they're encountering one another in the Oval Office, and she kept saying, "Corner me, fool! Come at me, fool! I want you, or something like that. I forgot. No, that sounds kind of gross.
Man, you're gonna make me. I've got the CD somewhere that you gave us, and I've got to dig that out and listen to it again on the road trip.
Well, there is one compilation album that somebody uploaded on YouTube that's like him hosting like a jukebox show, and it's tossing to all of his some of his best prank phone calls.
I should have brought one.
If you type Craig O'Neill
I've got
prank
a few, very few.
Oh man, I'd love to have one. Yeah.
Let's take a quick call from Ro. He wants to get in here and ask Craig something. Ro, you're on.
Oh. Oh, man. I love you, man. You must have been 9 years old. We had a weekend TV show, in case y'all didn't know, called Catching the Wave.
Okay.
And it was basically a 32-year-old white man dancing with young teenage girls, and it was gross. But it was on for 6 years on Saturday mornings. But I bet you were on that show. Oh shoot! No, not in this climate.
Thanks, Ro.
Thanks, Ro.
JT says my favorite Craig O'Neill story is eating breakfast at the hotel in Austin on Sunday morning after beating the Horns in 03.
Yes.
He had no idea who I was, but
Yes.
he talked to me about the game, and it was just fun to listen to him.
Oh my gosh, Wes, and you were there.
That was my first road trip with
Oh,
him.
that's right. And the prank that Tom Brandon played, where they had called down to Texas and gotten all this Texas paraphernalia and out and put it all in the room and decorated the entire room with Texas stuff as we walk in. And you're rolling, and I'm going, why has Wes got the camera on his shoulder when we're checking into the hotel room? And it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
That was a great game.
Oh, my word. And I remember there were two kids from I stood in front of the Texas section watching from the field. I stood on the field that whole game and stood in front of the Texas section as they were bemoaning their fate. And there were two kids from Russellville who were cheering for the Razorbacks, surrounded by a Texas Longhorn orange. And I was so awed by how they stuck to it.
Oh, what a day for them.
And then they started letting them have it with the downward horns thing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's when I saw Houston Nutt up close, how he would work the entire bench. If you were sitting there and you weren't getting to play, he would still say, stay in the game, stay in the game. I'm going to put you in. You know, he would, and the criticism of him, he tried to be too nice to too many people. But the upside was he did keep you riveted into the game. And like Houston Nutt or not, he did keep us interested for his time here.
Yeah.
Except for maybe 1 year. Your second year here.
Craig's got to go, so let's do it. Zach, real quick.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Vaguely, in case a lawyer's listening. Oh, I love you. Oh man, I love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. That was great. Oh, I wish you had more time, but I
do
understand
too.
you got to
Is
go.
it 10:40?
Yes, that flew by.
Wes, where did it go?
What are you doing in Hot Springs? You still you reading these kids all the time? Still?
No, this is kind of, I'm on assignment.
Oh, okay.
I actually am on assignment, so headed down there. But I just really appreciate you doing this. I came on all full and ready to talk about sports. We ended up talking about everything, but we touched on it.
Yeah.
So
we had some sports moments.
I've been excited all week when Wes said you might be able to come in. So.
Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for letting me.
And just like our caller just said, it was a very similar situation for me.
Really?
You were like a big time celebrity to me when I was a kid. I remember being in Park Plaza and going up an escalator, and you were coming down with your son. I was like, told my mom, I was like, "Whoa, Craig O'Neill is like this," and and she's like, "No, don't bother. You know, he's with this kid shop and stuff." But
and we talk about Mitch Petrus. I recognized a lot of the things that drive me, the things that drive you, the things that drive us were present in him.
Oh yeah.
That delight of people. And I love that about him. And I appreciate you all letting me come on. Because this was a delight. It was 2 minutes long, but anyway.
It was a blast. We'll do it again.
All right.
No doubt. We'll do it again.
Love your family.
Don't be a stranger.
Hug them for me, man.
Yeah, tell everybody I said hello.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, when we come back, Pat Bradley joins us. You're in the zone.
That was fantastic.